Hi, thanks for that. So this morning we have Judy Parsons talking us through LinkedIn creating a Rockstar profile. Good morning, Judy. How are you? I think you're on mute still, Judy.
Yeah, I do apologise. Yes, good morning, Kirsty. Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
I know, yeah, I think I had a few technical difficulties this morning as well, but it's not a hurry. So I'll leave everyone in your capable hands. Please just shout up if you need me for anything. Thanks, Judy.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. So I am just going to, first of all, share my screen and we can get going. So thank you for that, Kirsty. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to assume everybody can see my screen okay, which is fantastic. So as Kirsty said, my name is Judy Parsons. I'm the LinkedIn lady, and we're talking all things LinkedIn profiles this morning. Before we get going, just a little bit about who I am and why I do what I do. So I've been I just do LinkedIn. I'm not a social media expert, and I've been working, I'm an independent LinkedIn trainer and coach, and I've been doing this for over 7 years now, working with business owners to help them get found, get noticed, get clients on LinkedIn, and using LinkedIn effectively as a tool to generate inbound inquiries from people you don't know you're looking. So the reason why I do LinkedIn so much, it just resonates with me because my background is business to business marketing. I used to work with sales teams within IT companies and telecom companies on lead generation. So LinkedIn completely fits my bag in terms of that new business development. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to look at what is LinkedIn, because I think that's really important to sort of actually from how you approach LinkedIn is actually to understand what it is. What's your why? So why are you using LinkedIn? Importantly, who are you talking to? And then we're going to use that information to help us create a client-focused LinkedIn profile. And we're also going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn pages as well. So what I wanted to do first of all, though, is just find out from everybody, how would you rate your LinkedIn profile at the moment? So I'm going to do a quick poll. So I'm going to bring that up now. I'm going to launch the polling. So hopefully everybody can see that. So if you could please vote, are you happy with your profile at the moment? Are you a newbie? Are you looking for some information on how to set it up? Where would you say you are at this moment in time? So just a few more votes, if I'll just leave it a little bit longer. Just think we've pretty much got everybody voted there. So interestingly, 50% of you think there's room for improvement. So majority sort of, obviously we're looking at, let me just end the polling so you can see that. You should be able to share results. Sorry, so you should be able to see that now. So you can see that, you know, sort of 75% are all looking for, you know, getting their account set up and room for improvement, with just 25% being happy with their profile. So you're just here to see what you're missing and what else you can pick up. So it'll be really interesting to see what you think at the end of this. So I'm going to get rid of that. Thank you very much for voting on there for me. And I'm going to hide that. So what is LinkedIn? And of course, we all think of LinkedIn as a social media platform, don't we? Along with Facebook and Twitter and things like that. But, you know, actually, if you think about LinkedIn a little bit differently and actually think about it as one big database, because for me, LinkedIn is more than just a social media platform. When I was it worked in B2B marketing, business marketing, I would spend quite a bit of my marketing budget actually on buying in data. And yet, amazingly, here we have LinkedIn with all that data at our fingertips for free. 28 million profiles in the UK alone, 600 million worldwide. And LinkedIn does give us the tools to drill down and find the people that we want to get in front of, as I say, for free. So it's fantastic. The other thing about LinkedIn, it is the closest thing to face-to-face networking you can get online. And again, if you think about network, and I'm going to assume that most of you do go networking, because generally when I speak to people and say to them, how do you generate leads at the moment? Most people will say networking and word of mouth. So LinkedIn works beautifully in conjunction with any networking that you do. Either that would have been face-to-face or even, you know, all online now, as it is, most of our networking is. But again, if you think about LinkedIn as a networking group in itself and treat it as another networking group, you think about, you can go and your profile represents yourself in the room, you know, people that you connect with are your network, what you post is the conversations that you're having. So LinkedIn in itself is another form of networking. And then of course, it's another website for your business. It's another online presence and can get you found both on LinkedIn and on Google. And I think, you know, just by telling people to think of your LinkedIn profile as another website makes people just approach and think differently about how they're going to use LinkedIn. Because if we think about websites, just for a minute or two, if we think about your website, you've spent a lot of time, money and effort. You're getting the messaging right, you're getting the branding right, you make sure that it's optimized because you want people to find you when they do a Google search. When people do a Google search and they find your website in those Google search results, you want to make sure that it's your website they click on. When they come to the website, they've got to stay on the website and then take some form of action. Your LinkedIn profile works in exactly the same way. It's got to get found. So it's got to have the right keywords in it so it gets found by your audience, the people who are looking for the solutions that you provide. When people do come through to your profile, it's got to engage them enough to get them to stay on your profile and to actually read more and then take some form of action. So it works in exactly the same way as your website. And the other thing about LinkedIn profiles is that Google loves it. So if you do have a LinkedIn profile, there's a really good chance it's going to come up on the Google search results alongside potentially your website. Now, there was some research done, some stats, this is from salesforce.com, that said that 92% of B2B, business-to-business buyers are starting their buying journey or starting the buying process online, which means they're going to Google and they're doing these searches and they are looking for solutions to the challenges that they have. And it makes sense, doesn't it? As consumers, most of us will start our buying process by looking online or even asking for recommendations. Another stat here from a company called IDC say that actually 75% of B2B buyers are going straight to LinkedIn. They're going to have a look at suppliers' profiles. They're going to see who's out there and who do they want to talk to. So my point is your LinkedIn profile is there that can get found on Google as well as on LinkedIn. And it could be that your B2B buyers are finding you either from Google or from LinkedIn, and they're coming to your LinkedIn profile. And the question would be, what impression does your LinkedIn profile give them? So in theory, it should not matter whether people go LinkedIn or Google to find you. It should all be consistent and congruent and say the same messaging and the same branding. And often when I talk to people and they have done their profile, there's a lot of information that you've probably already got on your website that you could then use on your LinkedIn profile. It just needs modifying because obviously your profile, you don't have as much space. You can have lots of pages on your website, for example, but you wouldn't have that much space on your LinkedIn profile. So you need to ask yourself, if somebody was to come to your LinkedIn profile, are you confident that it would make the right impression? Are you confident that it positions you as the expert? And are you confident that it helps build that know, like, and trust? Because at the end of the day, that's what people go for, isn't it? People buy people. We're looking to get to know somebody. We're looking to get to like them. We're looking to get to trust them. And that's what will help facilitate those sales, which is what we're looking for. The other thing that you need to think about is understand why you're on LinkedIn, because I think what generally happens is that people don't really see LinkedIn as another marketing tool or as a platform for branding themselves as a way of them getting found. And somebody will come up to you and go, oh, you need to be on LinkedIn. So you go away and create an account without actually thinking about what it is that you want LinkedIn to do for you. So it's important to understand what it is you want. And if I was to wave my LinkedIn magic wand, what is it you want from LinkedIn? Is it new business? Is it build credibility? Is it raise awareness of you and your services? Is it to find new employees? Do you want to position your company so it attracts the right candidates? Or, as some of my clients want, is just to have a good profile, because they do networking, they do word of mouth, they want to be confident that their profile looks good for when it does get found. So let's maybe just take a second or a minute just to go, what is your profile? What do you want LinkedIn to do for you? Maybe you can put it in the chat box for us. Do you want to put why you're on LinkedIn? Has anybody given that any thoughts? Win new business. Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, new business. I bet all of you are going to be on new businesses. Our new business, part of that is branding, it's part of messaging. Yeah, new business is the main thing for us. Raise awareness. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there might be some options on there that I've not included. Maybe you want to use LinkedIn for something that I've not put on there. Wonderful, wonderful. New contact suppliers, interesting. So that's one I haven't put on there, is about obviously finding new suppliers to work with. So thank you, Karen. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So I will just get. So we know what LinkedIn is. We know why we're on LinkedIn. We now need to look at our LinkedIn profile. And unfortunately, the biggest mistake I see people make is that they see it as their online CV. And again, that comes back to their why, because they don't know why they're on LinkedIn. And unfortunately, LinkedIn isn't very intuitive or user-friendly, and it kind of drives you down this CV route. And it thinks that you need to add every education you've ever done. You think you need to add every job you've ever had. And you don't. It's all about positioning you and what is the most important information that your clients need to know. So when I say CV, generally what I mean by that is that we get these sorts of statements on profiles. I call these CV style profiles. So this one, you know, a strong, experienced sales professional with a proven track record and demonstrated history. We've got another one here where it's I am. There's a lot of I am, I, me, my, that kind of. I am highly motivated and relish a challenge. I thrive working under pressure. I always work in high level. You know, I have considerable experience. You know, I hate to tell you this, but actually nobody cares about you. Your ideal clients don't care whether you've got experience. What they want to, well, they do care, because you need that credibility. But what they want to know first and foremost is that you understand them and that you can help them. And actually, even if you're looking for a job, these sorts of profiles aren't really going to make you stand out and be different from everybody else. And what I like to say is my little mantra is, if you wouldn't do it face-to-face, don't do it on LinkedIn. So for example, for those of you who do go networking, you do your 60 seconds, you're not going to stand up there and go, I am a highly motivated person and I believe being a good role model. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't stand up there and say your elevator pitch and talk about yourself. As we all know, if you talk about yourself, we generally turn people off. So first of all, if you're going to do something, first thing is to think, would I do this face-to-face? And it's a kind of a good little rule of thumb to work to there. So what should you really be saying on your LinkedIn profile? And, you know, I appreciate writing about yourself, writing your LinkedIn profile. If anybody's done writing for their website, they'll probably know how difficult it can be to write your own content and to write about yourself. So we're going to do a little exercise now that will hopefully help you write your LinkedIn profile. So it's not about you and it's focused on your ideal clients. So it's not about you. It's about your ideal clients and what's in it for them. So we need to focus on benefits. And what we need to do is change that language away from I am and me and my and onto you. Do you, have you, if you. We need to be sort of articulating what it is our challenges are that our audience has and how we can help them. So first and foremost, you need to understand, who is it you're talking to? Who is your audience? It's not going to be everyone. You will have people, an audience that you want to get in front of who are going to be your ideal clients. So knowing your audience is the exercise that we're going to do. And what we're going to do is look at, who is it you help? So are they in a particular industry sector? Do they have particular job titles? Are they in certain locations? In LinkedIn is very sort of formal demographic filters such as that. So we need to kind of think about things like that. But you may have other sort of a customer avatar, which includes, you know, they are sort of, they could be certain genders, they could be in certain age groups, there could be certain company sizes. So it's kind of like, who is your ideal client? Who is it you help? And then what's their pains and challenges? So what's keeping them awake at night, or that you solve for them? And then what words, what kind of keywords would they use? Keywords, key phrases would they use if they were to go and do a Google search, for example? What kind of words would they use to go and find solutions to those challenges? So what I'd like you to do, we're going to spend a few minutes here because this is a really useful exercise to do. What I'd like you to do is to think of your best ever client or group of clients who, you know, who's had a great result, who's paid you well, they love you love them, you want more of these clients. Who do you want more of? And then what I'd like you to do is put yourself in their shoes and think about the conversations that you've had with them, and when they first came to you, what kind of things were they saying to you? What were they saying their challenges were? What did they, you know, what was keeping them awake at night? You know, what did they say, and what kind of words did they use to describe those challenges? And what I'd like you to do is think of your top 3 keywords. Now, if you've already done a website and you've done some keyword analysis, or you know what traffic drives the most traffic to your website, it's those keywords that you want to use on your LinkedIn profile. Because remember, your LinkedIn profile works in exactly the same way as a website. So you want to be thinking about keywords. What are those keywords that your audience is using? And make sure you've got them on your profile, basically. If they're doing really well for you on your website, get them over and onto your LinkedIn profile. But I say top 3, you may have 10, you may have more, but we'll work on your top 3. So what I'd like to do is, to spend 5 minutes just thinking about who is your help. Do you know who your audience is? Do you know what their number 1 challenge is that you solve? And do you know what those words would be to find solutions? I use this exercise with my clients when I'm writing their LinkedIn profiles, and it gives me the information I need to position their profiles in the right way. Doing this exercise will be really, really helpful in helping you to understand what it is that you need to write on your LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes just to think about that, and maybe you could start putting something in the chat box about who your audience is, what your number 1 challenge is, and what your top keywords are. Fantastic, thank you, Peter. School budgets is their number 1 challenge, making contact. So Karen, you're a B2B venue find service. That's interesting. Oh, bringing people together while you're working apart. Virtual murder mysteries. Interesting. Not heard that before. Excellent. That's really interesting, Sarah. This exercise is designed to get you to think about your ideal clients and focus on them rather than yourself in terms of when it comes to writing your profile. And listening to and thinking about those conversations, and maybe even going forward when you do speak to prospects, or even go back to your existing clients and ask them. And it may, but we don't really have time now to spend too much time on this exercise. But if you have colleagues that you can work with, or even sort of partners or suppliers or anything like that, brainstorming this really does help, and it will help you drag out the content that you need to help you write your profile, because you're going to write it from this perspective of them as opposed to from yourself. So we will move on, just because obviously I appreciate, you know, it's a webinar and things like that. But thank you very much for everybody who has participated. I really do hope that's got you thinking, and that maybe, you know, give yourself some time today, tomorrow, to actually think about that in a bit more depth to help you write your LinkedIn profile. So thank you very much for participating in that. So you may be wondering, what are we going to do with that information? So we're now going to take this information and we're going to write a client-focused LinkedIn profile. This is one that's focused on your ideal clients, that talks about how you help and the benefits of what it is that you do for them. Now, when it comes to LinkedIn, the first thing that people are going to come to is this header section. Now, this is what's known as above the fold. It's what people are going to see first, and it's got to grab attention, because literally you have seconds before somebody goes, oh no, that's not what I was interested in, and they've moved on. As I say, just like a website, if somebody comes to your website and they don't find what they're looking for, they're gone. They're moving on to the next person, your competitor potentially. So the same with your header section. And the way that the header section works is that we've obviously got the header banner up here at the top and your profile photo. Underneath there, we've got your name, and also then we have your headline, which is now 220 characters, which is great, gives us a bit more space to work with. You'll notice this little icon here. We've now got a little audio feature where we can actually talk and say what our name is, which is quite fun. I've obviously got mine on there, but I don't listen too much to most people's audio names, but it is quite a little bit of fun. I just want to mention over here as well, you can see that I've got my email here, judy@judithparsons.com. Now this is a recent change, because literally like 2, 3, 4 days ago, you used to be able to see your company name here, and basically LinkedIn have taken it off, because basically they're saying that it's confusing for people who have left their current company for it to be displayed up here that it looks like they're still working for them. It's a really bizarre reason, and they've just blanketed, taken it off. Typical LinkedIn thing to do. They don't think about what they're doing, they just remove it. I'm hoping they're going to either bring it back or give you the option to have that displayed in your header banner. But at the moment, you can only see which would be your education here. So I'm going to talk about how you can maybe change this You know, you probably, if you've got a degree, you may have your university on here. If you've not got any education, it may be that this is blank, or you may have an old school, which you don't need on your profile. So we'll, if you want to add your email or telephone number or something, I'll show you how you can do that when we jump onto LinkedIn. But then underneath our header, we've got this thing called open for services, or open for business, should I say. There's two things. You can be open for jobs, and I suppose some of you may have noticed that a lot of people are using these sort of green, I don't know, things on their profile windows, frames, a green frame saying open to opportunities. So that's if you're looking for a job, you can say that you're open for an opportunity. Or if you're in business, you can say you're open for business. It's a feature. I'm not convinced that it really does a great deal for me. If it's there, you might as well use it as not. And it's also quite limited in terms of the services. You have to pick whatever is in that list. And it doesn't always work for every organization. So again, I'll show you that when we get onto demo LinkedIn. And then underneath there, we've got this about section. So on the about section, that is 2,000 characters in total. This is, well, it's a little bit more now, but it's about 2,300 characters. But this allows you to sort of position why you and your credibility and things like that. But you only actually see the first 3 lines on the desktop, about 250 characters before somebody has to click on see more. On the mobile, it's about 100 characters before somebody has to click on see more. So I like to use this as a standalone paragraph. So we'll, to sort of augment the headline. So that's what these are the key things that we're going to look at in this webinar today, because even making slight changes to your LinkedIn profile can make a huge difference. A client of mine just changed one keyword on her LinkedIn profile and got found by a new client and a 15K contract subsequently. So, you know, even small changes can make a huge impact to your LinkedIn profile. So branding your profile, we've obviously got your profile photo, and we've got this lovely blue header banner. Bit boring. You've got opportunities here to actually sort of brand that. Again, if you think about your header on your website, that's what we want to get on your LinkedIn profile. So let's have a look at your photo first. Very important. Again, part of building that know, liking, trust, part of building your professional brand online. People like to see you. People want to be able to recognize you. So you need to have a photo. Very, very important. And also it needs to be a picture of you. It needs to be you, because people buy from people, remember. And it needs to be a photo of just you. So no pets, no nights out, no friends. And then make sure it's a professional photo. You know, what impression do you want your potential clients to come and get of you when they come to your LinkedIn profile? So think about that impression that you're making. And also look approachable. You know, you want to make sure if you've, again, I sort of go back to the networking analogy here, because I've been networking, I've gone to a new group, and you walk into that new group and you don't know anyone. And, you know, they're all talking away to each other, and it's quite, it's not very, it feels uncomfortable. So you want somebody who looks approachable, looks like you're going to be friendly and they can talk to. So we need to have profiles, you know, smiling, good photos, looking like the type of people that our clients would want to do business with. And I don't know if there's any photographers on the call today, but highly recommend getting a good photo. It's the best, it's not that expensive. There's some really great deals out there, and it's the best use, you know, really great way of spending your marketing budget is getting a good photo or several photos to use across your marketing. I use mine on all my social media and on my business card. So it's a really good investment to have a good photo. But in the meantime, if you feel that your photo could be better, we've all got smartphones. You can get a really good photo on there if you don't have a professional one. You've then got your header banner. As I say, this is really boring and a missed opportunity if you don't brand this header banner, this blue bar that goes across the top. So you can either have something that is branded, using your own that you maybe have got from your website, or you could use something which is more generic. So if you don't have any images at the moment that you could use for your header banner, you could use free image sites like Pixabay or Unsplash. So like this one here. So Rob actually is an independent energy consultant. So we've just got a generic image of some electricity pylons, you know. But what we're looking for, it's very important that we've got a rectangular image, because their header banner is long and narrow. So you need to choose a rectangular image over a square image, because the square won't fit very well, it won't look great. So that's a great place. These are free image sites that you can go to and select an image that kind of relates to what it is that you do. The other thing is to go to canva.com and create your own header banner. I recommend that you use custom dimensions in Canva. So for your profile, it's 1584 by 396 pixels, and your company page header is slightly different size at 1128 times 191. And you know, you can do something like Fiona here. She's just got her orange color in the background with a bit of info about what it is that they do, or you can actually use some icons and images from your actual branding, depending on what you've got. Or of course you get a graphic designer to do it for you. So we've looked at our branding, so we've looked at our header banner, and we've looked at our profile photo. The next thing is your headline, and your headline is a really, really important part of your LinkedIn profile, because it's got two jobs to do. First of all, it's got to get you found on LinkedIn and potentially on Google. And the second thing, it's got to encourage people to click through to your profile over and above everyone else's. So unfortunately, most people will use their job title and company name, and your headline, you know, you've got 220 characters to say are so much more than just that. So it's a real waste of space. We don't want to be saying what our job title and company name is. We want to actually have an attention-grabbing headline that people go, oh, let's have a look at that. Oh, yes, that looks interesting. So it needs to say what it is you do. It needs to say how you help, so what are the benefits, and you need to think keywords in here. So again, I mentioned to you, what are your top 3 keywords? You need at least one of those in there in your headline. And there's my little mistake that I've made. I've forgotten to update that to 220 characters, not 120 characters. It's 220 characters for your attention grabbing headline, which is great. So 120 characters was quite limited. That includes spaces. So now we've got a bit more space to actually say more about what it is that we do. There used to be a hack on the iPhone where you could add more words to your headline. Now everybody's got it on your desktop and on your phone as well. So 220 characters. So just to give you an example, so here's Simon, really poor photo, managing director at Virgo. Doesn't really tell us anything. We can't see him. It's not professional at all. That was changed to much better photo. And now, instead of being managing director, so company job title at company name, he's now an ergonomic seating specialist, because that's what his ideal clients, that's what his audience, his target audience are looking for. They're looking for ergonomic seating. They're also DSE workplace assessments. So you can see how different that is between just your job title to including your keywords. And the important thing about your headline to remember is that it actually follows you around LinkedIn. So if you're going to be active on LinkedIn, it's going to follow you around, and it's great, because then you don't know who's going to see you as you're active on LinkedIn and might go, actually, that looks interesting. Let's come and have a look at your profile. So we've got Rob here, and he's got his headline starting with helping business owners and workforce implement modern marketing. If we then look at that here, this is where he's actually commented on somebody's post. So what you can see is that you can see about the first 80 or so characters of his headline. So you can see he does helping business owners and workforce implement modern marketing. Oh, that's okay, not bad. People might want modern marketing. But then on the mobile, you can see it just is about 30 odd characters. So it's helping business owners and what? You want to make sure you've got the most important information at the front here. Helping business owners and workforce implement modern marketing is probably going to be more later on. It's perhaps more of a benefit-led statement. You want to have marketing expert, or online marketing expert. That needs to be first. The most important information needs to be at the front. So if you do want to have your job title on your headline, I wouldn't recommend it, but some people like to have MD and stuff on there, put it at the end, because that's where it's not going to be, it will be seen, but it's not as important as the rest of the info. So just to give you another example, a CV style. So again, as I say, job title and company name versus a client focused. So it's telling people what it is you do, cybersecurity specialist, an IT support expert, keeping South Yorkshire businesses working and safe, your IT in safe hands. So it's much more what it is we do, how we help, and it's much more engaging and eye-catching and speaks to their audience. So I hope that you can see the difference between those sort of two things there, between a CV style and a client focus style headline. So the next bit is, so our headline has done its job. It's got us found and somebody has clicked through to our profile. Very, very important, because you need people coming to your profile if you're going to generate leads. And also you want the right people coming to your profile. A lot of times people will say, oh, I get a few profile views, but you know, they're all recruiters or something. And I go, well, that's because your profile talks to recruiters and not your audience. So you need to sort of think about, that's why it's so important to understand what your keywords and who your audience is. So we need to get profile views, and we need the right people coming to our profile. And once they're on our profile, we need to grab attention and keep them on our profile so they stay there and take some form of action. Because if when they're not connected to us, we want them to connect. It may be that you want them to go and sign up to your free offer, or join your mailing list, or go to your website. You know, what is it that you want them to do? So the next section they're going to come across is this about section here. And as I said before, you've got about 2,000 odd characters here for this about section, but only the first 3 lines, approximately 250 to 300 characters are visible before somebody has to click on see more to read the rest of it. So this has really got to sort of go, and this is where your number one client challenge is going to come in. So what's the number one thing that you help your clients solve? This is where you want to be focusing on what it is that you do to help your clients solve their challenges. So if we just scroll down. So this bit here, so these first 3 lines or first 100 characters on the mobile, I call it intro paragraph. It's not an official title, it's just what I call it. And I use it as a standalone paragraph within that about section to create that curiosity to keep, so they stay on the profile, and it augments a headline and includes a call to action. What is it you want people to do? Because your profile is a website. And if you think about your website, you should, and I'm sure if there's any website designers on here, they would say the same, is that you have call to actions on your website. You know, call, you might have a phone number, you might have an email, you might have a mailing list, you know, a newsletter or a free offer on your website. LinkedIn's the same. We need to give them a call to action. We need to tell people what we want them to do next. So for an example here, so number 1 challenge, everyday business costs spiraling out of control. You don't have to use a question, but I quite like questions, and it's like a yes, no question, because if it's a yes, they're potentially an ideal client. If it's no, they're not. So that's number 1 challenge, how you help. So they help busy directors and managers save time and money on their business costs. Great. Call to action, book a business cost review to say how much you could save, and then there's contact details. If you don't have something like that, you could just say, you know, get in touch for a no obligation call. Please email or call, or please connect. What is it that you want people to do? So again, just to give you an example of what a CV style one looks like compared to a client focused one. Again, our CV style is just talking about I'm good at this. I'm highly motivated. I've got a strong background. Nobody cares. They want to know what's in it for me. So we want to have something that talks to your ideal client. So here's one that isn't a question. So nothing impacts your physical, mental, and emotional well-being more than your daily lifestyles. If you know you're not as healthy as you'd like to be, would like more help and support in making the right lifestyle choices, then please connect or email. So you can see it's totally different, isn't it? Here we're talking about ourselves. Here we're talking to our ideal clients and how we can help them solve their number 1 challenge. So I hope that was clear to everyone. I'm just going to see if we've got any questions or anything like that. Right, okay, that's fine. Lovely. So far, so good. So featured is a new, relatively new feature from LinkedIn, which I love. I really like featured. And most people, I think, you will all have featured, but maybe you may not have added it to your profile if you haven't got it at the moment. So when I'm going to jump onto LinkedIn just to look at how to edit your profile, I'll show you where it is if you've not got it. But featured is a fantastic feature where you can showcase your most important information. So you'll see here, that you've got these two sort of full squares here. We've got a title and a little bit of text about what it is, and then we've got half of this one, and then you can sort of scroll more, click on this button here and scroll more to see the rest of it. So these two here are your most important information that you want to have visible. So have you got something of value that you would offer your clients? Do you have an ebook or a freebie of something they can download, a video they can look at, you know, anything there that's going to help you build your credibility? And what we're going to do is we've got a little plus sign and we've got a pencil here, and if we click on the plus sign, you can see that we can add posts to our featured, we can add articles. So if you write blogs, you may want to add an article there, links to your website, and you can upload images, webinar, well, videos and things like that there as well. And then you can move them around. So you've got your little sort of, those four little lines here allow you to sort of move things around as and when, and you can remove from featured if something new comes up and things like that. Great little tool, gives a little bit of visibility and a splash of color to your LinkedIn profile. So we've now got people on our profile. They've looked at our about section, they've seen our featured section, they're going to come down and have a look at our current role and what it is that you do now. So in here, we've got your job title. Your job title is 100 characters. You've then got a description, which is 2,000 characters. And then you've got the option to add media at the bottom. I usually only add 2 here, but it's a bit like the featured section. You can add some more information here to help augment your experience. So when it comes to adding content, you want to make sure you write in first person. You want to make your profile easy to read. So you've got to use short paragraphs and bullets. And you need to include your keywords throughout your profile. We're not spamming. We're not going to put, you know, web design, web design, web designer, web designer, but you need to make sure that you've got it throughout your profile. So if you've got past experience as a web designer, you need to make sure that your keywords say web designer. So instead of saying account director, maybe say web designer. You know, the past experience is another opportunity to put your keywords in there. And you've also got a selection of tools to help your profile stand out. So we've got symbols. Don't go mad on these, by the way, but they do help your profile give it a little bit of zap. So you can add sort of like little sort of ticks or little stars and things like that. Or emojis, not so much the smiley faces. Well, for me personally, it depends on whether you and your audience likes emojis and smiley faces. But, you know, you do have these sorts of icons here, like these flags and things. And these can be quite good for bullets as well. So these are quite useful just to sort of make your text stand out a little bit. So what I'd like to do now, we've gone through that, is just maybe talk a little bit about how would you rate your profile now. So I'm just going to launch this second poll. Do you think it has changed? When we talked about how would you rate your profile before this sort of section now, how would you rate it now? Do you think it needs some work on it? Are you still happy as it is? I'd love to see what you think. To give you a bit more. Any more votes? There's a couple more not voted. Give you a. Yeah, I think that's everybody who wants to vote has voted. So thank you for that. But that's really interesting because actually, unless everybody else decided that they weren't getting, all the ones who said they were still happy with their profile decided that this webinar is not for them and then have disappeared. But actually, everybody has now said they either see the changes they want to make, and let me just share that with you, or they're going to completely revamp it. So that's really interesting. So thanks very much for that. So what I'll do, Kirsty, is there any questions or anything that have come up at all that we need to look at before I move on to the next bit?
So there wasn't any questions in the Q&A box. Karen did ask in the chat box, how did you get your round circle around your picture?
Canva.
Canva.
Canva.com. So there's some frames in Canva, and I selected a round frame, and they've got different types of circle frames. You just drag my photo into it.
Cool. I think that was it for the questions, unless anybody else has any questions that they'd like to ask now.
So Karen has put something in the chat about word swag. I've not heard of that. An app on our phone gives you, so you can add it and add your logos to the images. So does that mean you can create your header banner on there? Karen, I'm not familiar with word swag. I'll have to have a look at that. Apologies for, yeah, sorry, Jack, it is 2:20. That's a very, very naughty oversight there. Lovely, right, okay, thanks very much, Kirsty. I think we'll carry on. There doesn't seem to be any more questions. But if that's a good thing or not, I'm not sure. I was hoping there might be some more. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry, there's some, oh yeah, can we add a portfolio to show our work? So George, I'm going to show you featured. So yeah, I would add a full portfolio to show your work, definitely, but it may be individual images, or maybe you've got like a slideshare or something. So it depends what it is that you've got. If you've got, actually, Karen, if you've got a link to WordSwag, are you able to put that into the chat as well, in case anybody else wants to have a look at that? That'd be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is to jump onto LinkedIn. So fingers crossed, I hope everybody can see my LinkedIn profile at the moment. And what I wanted to do here is just sort of talk a little bit about editing your LinkedIn profile a little bit, and talk a bit about settings and things like that as well. So just, oh, have I not closed the poll? Sorry. Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. I didn't realize I hadn't closed it. Thank you. Has it gone now? Kirsty, can you tell me if the poll's gone?
I can't see the poll anymore, mate.
Fantastic, thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Right, okay, so on your LinkedIn profile, obviously you've got all these lovely little pencil icons, which allows you, this is where you would upload your header banner. This is where you're going to actually update the information on this header section here. So here was where you would put in your name, your headline, and things like that. So here, can you see where it says show education in my intro? You can actually choose to whether you have the education section in your header at the top or not. So if I just come back to here for a second, can you say it's I've got my little email, Judy at Judy. Now this isn't a hyperlink, it looks like it is, but all it does is jump me down to education. It's not going to open up an email box or anything. But what I want to do is have my email, my contact details quite visible. And again, if you think of it as a website, you know, you will have, I see a lot of websites where you've got email and contact details right at the top. So, so that's great. And then, so you can decide whether you want to, it depends what you've got on your education. So let's just talk about education a little bit. I jump down here. So I've got some qualifications and stuff like that. So which are relevant, I believe, to what it is I do now. So I've you know, got some marketing stuff, and I've got my degree and things like that. And so what I've done is, but I want my email to be most visible, because that's more important for me. Sort of what I did in the past, you know, these are a few years ago now, so they're not that relevant, in my opinion, anymore. So all I did is that you click on this little plus sign, and in the education box, it's a free text box. So you can type whatever you like in here and click on save. And hopefully you'll be able to see that I've got this bit of gobbledygook here. And if I just scroll this to the top, that's now at the top, and you'll see up here that's, well, that bit of gobbledygook. So you've got choices. So here I'm saying is that you've got choices. You either, if you've got a school or you're happy with your university degree to be up there or whatever it is, that's fine, leave it there. Or you could choose to just not have it visible at all by turning it off here. So you could say, don't show my intro, my education in my intro. You could do that. Or you could do as I've done. So it's gone now because I've chosen to turn it off. Or you could do as I've done and actually have your email there. Okay. So those are things, those are some options there that you've got. With this audio file here, you need to use your phone. So on the app. So if you go to the app and you go to your little, I don't know if I'm going to put a show up there, but can you see, you'll go up to your photo. She says, oh, I get this in it. You go up to your photo in the bar at the top. If you click on that to get to your profile, click on your view profile, and this is where you'll be able to edit your audio if you've got it. So click on the pencil icon and you'll be able to, hopefully people can see that, but you can put a little audio recording of your names. Mine at the moment, if we play mine. You've got 10 seconds, and actually, so you can say quite a bit. I've heard some people put quite a bit of info in there. So, you know, you've got that as well. It's quite like that. It's quite a nice little tool and things like that. So if you haven't got featured or you want to add some other sections to your profile, this is where you add them. See where it says add profile section. So under intro, this is where if I was looking for a job, I could put what jobs I'm looking for and that kind of thing in here. This is where you would have that open to opportunities green frame if you wanted it. If you haven't got featured, this is where you're going to add it here. So you can go in and add your featured background here. So I'd highly recommend that you do that. Okay. And if I just come down to here, so this is what I was talking about being open for business. And if I click on this, basically, if I just click on add service, you've got accounting, you've got coaching and mentoring, you've got leadership development, you've got, you know, you can choose sort of various services that you may offer under each of these headings, but it may be if there's nothing relevant, you can't really sort of choose anything. But, you know, they've actually have improved it and add more options to it, which has been quite good. But there's still sometimes where it's not so relevant. I mean, it's great if you're in photography, obviously, and writing and software development, but that's where you want to add those things in. I'm just going to discard that. Now, if you haven't got this, as I say, what you want to do is have a look under your add profile section intro, see if it's here, then you can add it your profile. If you haven't got it yet, then LinkedIn has been really poor at rolling this out to people. And as I say, it's not, I don't think it makes a huge difference. There's a new search filter where you can search for particular services and things like that. The biggest benefit is that people can actually contact you without being connected to you. So on LinkedIn, if you want to message somebody on LinkedIn, you have to be directly connected. This kind of allows people to contact you that aren't directly connected, as it were. So moving down to experiences. I'll just talk about the features section a little bit here, which I do like. So if I just click on, if you want that, it's quite easy to add things. You can just click on the link. If you've got media you want to upload, so I think if you've got a portfolio in some kind of, you know, PDF or a SlideShare or something, you just need to click on the icon and you just select what it is that you want to upload. So it's quite really nice and easy. And any posts that you've done, you can add here as well. And what I really do like about it is that you can change the position of things. So if I want to, this is my free ebook. So if anybody does want to download this, this is where you can grab it. But you can see I've just moved it ahead of my last article. And then I've got various things on here. And if I want to remove from featured, I can just click on remove from featured. So I really like this featured section for highlighting relevant, important information that can help your clients. Okay, sorry, this just seeing. Okay. So then coming down, so what's going to happen then is that, you know, your profile's done its job, they've come through, they looked at your headline, they may click on see more and read the rest of your about section, or they may come down to your current experience. And you can have more than one experience. So as you see here, I've got that's my company page. We're going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn pages in a minute. But that's my company page. And you can see this is my job title. And I said that your job title, you've got 100 characters. So if you just put managing director or owner or founder or whatever on there, you're missing an opportunity to actually add more keywords to your LinkedIn profile. So you can see that I've got independent LinkedIn trainer, LinkedIn profile writer, LinkedIn coaching. LinkedIn's a big keyword, you know, I'm LinkedIn, but you know, I'm putting it in there without hopefully being spammy and things like that. But then you can have more than one current role. And so if you've got more than one service, or because you've only got 2,000 characters here to kind of talk about what it is that you do. So sometimes you may want to split. So for one client, I've just really, they do consultancy and they do training. So we split them. We split one, we've got a current role about training and a current role about consultancy, because you have only 2,000 characters, and it can be, and I don't say that you should use all 2,000 characters, but if you need a bit more space, then maybe having another current role might be a good option. And you can see that it just falls under. So this is some coaching program that I do. So you can see how that works. And what I like to do is, again, this is rich media that I've added underneath my current role. And I like to just have two, because you can see the picture and the title. If you start to have any more, you just get little images and it doesn't really work very well. But two is nicely balanced and people can see what it is quite easily. And with regards to the emojis, what I was saying about it being, make sure that you write your profile so that it's easy to read. 60% of traffic to LinkedIn is from the mobile. So big pieces of text are really hard to read. So you want to make sure that your paragraphs are short, no more than three lines ideally. And you can see that I've used here, these are emojis, these are just little sort of triangles, not diamonds even, little pointers here, that kind of stuff. So it just really helps to break up the text. And I've used these because, as you can see in my headline, I've used these. And, you know, blue's one of my brand colors, so it works really nicely and things like that. The other thing that you may want to do as well is that you can move current roles around. So you see these 4 lines here, I can just drag. So if I wanted this to be at the top, I can just, it's a bit clunky, don't get me wrong, it is a bit clunky. I can move it up to the top there. So you can choose which order your current roles are going to go into. There's quite a lot coming on the chat, so I'm just going to have a quick right, okay, that's fine.
Hello.
Hi, sorry,
no, it's all right. So there's just been a lot of chat amongst ourselves kind of on the chat. Karen did ask, do you think it helps the algorithms to move your features around or your headlines, etc.?
I think it's good to, I don't think it's so much for the algorithm, but it's good for keeping your profile up to date. And if you have new articles, maybe you write an article every month, you may want to add that to your featured section, so your newest article is always visible. So it's just keeping it fresh, basically, I would say.
Okay, thank you. And please do let me know, Judy, when you're ready for a 5-minute break, and we can.
Yeah, we can. I'm just do settings and visibility, and we'll have a break then. Is that okay? Sorry, I do tend to go on and forget about things like that.
It's not a problem at all. Please just let me know, and then we'll have a 5-minute break.
Wonderful. Thank you. Right. Okay. I just wanted to very quickly talk about settings and privacy. So these have recently, they've not changed. They've just changed the order of it. And So your settings and privacy, so just to remind you, to get to settings and privacy, you go to the Me menu and you come down to settings and privacy. And in here, there are certain things that you may want to have set. And just before you go in and start editing your LinkedIn profile, you might want to just check that you've turned off if you're going to send updates to people that you've updated your profile, you may not want to let people know that. So it all depends what your settings look like. You may have the old version still where you've got tabs across the top. So you'll have account, privacy, communications across the top here. Or it may be that they look like mine, where they basically put them down here, down the side. So we click on visibility. So visibility of your profile and your network. So just to be, profile viewing options here is a really sort of good one to be aware of. You want to make sure that you're in full visibility mode at all times on LinkedIn. But if you did want to go and have a look at somebody without them knowing that they're looking, you can go into private mode. Make sure though that once you've finished in private mode and done your stalking, that you go back to full visibility mode. The other thing I just wanted to quickly mention before we sort of stop for a break is share job changes and education changes here. So every time you kind of make some changes, LinkedIn for some bizarre reason will send a notification out. If you don't want people to be notified of that, just make sure you turn this to no on your settings. So it's under visibility of your LinkedIn activity. Turn that to no so that when you update your profile, nobody will get notified. So Kirsty, did you want to have a 5-minute break now before we move on to LinkedIn pages?
Yes, certainly. We can take 5 minutes, everybody. So if we come back for just before 1:15, and then we'll go for the second half of the webinar.
Fantastic.
So I'm just gonna share my screen, and we'll have a little.
Oh, shall I stop sharing?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You made yourself a nice coffee and feeling all refreshed.
No, I just stayed here.
Oh, well, I'll let you take back over then, Judy, and please.
Lovely. Is everybody back with us? That's great. Hopefully back with us. Okay, so we looked at editing your profile. What I want to do now is look at LinkedIn pages. So they were called company pages. As I say, LinkedIn continually tweaks things, better for worse sometimes, but LinkedIn pages, aka company page. And one of the questions people ask is, should I have a LinkedIn page? And my answer is almost yes, because it adds branding to your LinkedIn profile. So you can see here that on my company page here, I've got my little photo here. So under experience, instead of having that boring grey box, you've got your logo or an image of you, whatever you prefer to have. And, you know, it's another web presence. It's another way to get found. So my company page can get found on Google, as can my personal LinkedIn profile. So it's just, you know, why not? It's free, it's there, make the most of it. And it allows you to talk more about your products and services. So it's more exposure, more visibility for you and your business. So, and the other number one reason why you should have a LinkedIn page, and this is a little bit of an extreme example, but it kind of demonstrates it. So I was talking to a lady who's a virtual assistant, and she's based, as you can see, this is her here. And she hadn't got a company page, so she got this boring grey box here. She called herself a virtual assistant, which is great because it's a keyword, but you know, there's nothing else in there. And then for her company name, she just put virtual assistant Wakefield. So what happens is if you click on virtual assistant Wakefield, what it does is it brings up a list of people. Now, in her case, what it did was bring up a list of all other virtual assistants in Wakefield. So basically all her competitors. So when I showed her this, she very quickly created a company page because obviously she doesn't want to help promote her competitors. So it's very, very good to have a company page just so that it looks more professional, it adds that branding, and it takes people somewhere else to learn something more about your services. And often you can, if you've written your profile already, the experience section, along with a bit of the about section, you can take both of that and use that content and just tweak it for the company page. You don't have to write anything special extra unless you just want to use it to focus on your services. So to create a company page, it's not that easy to find. You have to go to the work menu and create a company page. So you go to this menu, which is probably one that you don't go to very often. And then you have to scroll right down to the bottom to find company page. Or you can just go to this website, linkedin.com/company/setup/new. But once you know where it is, it's quite easy to find. And then when you click on create company page, it's going to come up with this option. And obviously, I am guessing most of you will go for small businesses. So you just click on the small business link. And then what you're going to get is your cover image here. So again, you want that branded in the same way that you want your personal profile branded. And again, make it consistent. So you see that my company page header banner and my personal profile header banner are the same. Slightly smaller image though. So you have to do one in Canva for both sizes. My logo, I've just actually used my image, a different photo of me. This actually is my logo here, and it's quite long. And so it doesn't fit very well in this square. If you've got a nice square image, it'll look brilliant. But because my logo itself is long, it doesn't fit very well. So I decided to go with just a photo. I could have used just these three sort of links here, but it doesn't really say anything. So I decided to go with a fit image. Anyway, then you've got obviously your company name. And then underneath here, you've got a tagline. This is 120 characters. So it's a quick sort of elevator pictures in terms of what it is that you do. So again, keywords, LinkedIn training, you know, strategy, etc. What it is that your company does. And you can also view as member. So if you want to see what your company page looks like, you can click on view as member, and it'll give you how it will be seen by people who come to your company page. So editing your company page, it's slightly changed. We basically click on the pencil icons, and then what that will do is it will open up this box here. And this is where you would upload various information such as your logo. So there you can see I've put the logo in there as an example. There's the company name, there's the tagline. The description here under the about section is 2,000 characters, another 2,000 characters. This is really awkward. So can you see here, this is like a fixed box. And again, I'm going to jump onto LinkedIn to kind of show you this. But it's really fixed. So it's very hard, I think, typing the information directly into LinkedIn. I actually like to use a Word document. So I've got a LinkedIn profile worksheet, which I'm happy if anybody wants a copy of that, I'm quite happy to send it to them. But I like to use my Word document to actually type the information that I'm going to use both in my profile and on my company page, and then copy and paste it into LinkedIn. And the reason, you don't have to do that, my personal preference, but the reason I do that is you can double check for spellings, you can make sure the character count's right, you can make sure it's grammatically right and all that kind of stuff. So then also you've got this URL here. So this is your link to either your website, the homepage, or even better, to a landing page. You know, where can people pick up something for free in exchange for their email address? Because ideally what we want to do is get people off LinkedIn and into a mailing list. So think about maybe where you want to take people to a website, because, you know, if you've got quite a big website, people can get lost. So think about where you want to take people. And then the other thing that you've got on your company page is this thing called specialities, up to 20. Again, think keywords. So you want to have your top keywords in here to help you get found. So let's have a quick jump onto LinkedIn. There we go. Okay, so to find company page, if you haven't got one already, what I was saying is so this is your sort of homepage of your LinkedIn, and this is what's known as your navigation bar at the top. So you've got home, you've got my network, messaging, notifications, you've got the me menu, which we've looked at already, where you can go and find the settings and privacy and any sort of activity, and also you can manage your company pages from here. So you can see that actually I've got a lot of company pages on here. I'm an admin for quite a few company pages, and I kind of recommend to people have more than one admin if you can, just in case you ever got locked out of LinkedIn. It means you can't get to your company page. So I do, as you can see, I have quite a few company pages that I'm an admin of, but there's my company page. So I can choose to come in and manage the company page from here. But what we're going to do is, if we go to the work menu, she says, it's going to slow down. Don't slow down. So the work menu, click on the work menu, and it opens this window here, and you have to come right down to here to click on create company page. And then you're going to choose whether you want small business, as I say, or a showcase page. A showcase page, I wouldn't worry too much about, but large companies will create showcase pages for individual products. They are, as it says here, a sub page within an existing page. It just allows, again, gives you more space to talk about another particular project. I don't use that a great deal, particularly. If you're a school, you may want to actually create a school page as opposed to a company page. But generally, I would imagine most people are going to go for the small business page. And in here, we are going to actually start typing in your company name. So your company name would go in here. As she says, if you can spell, which I can't. So somebody's already got a company page called company name. Can you see? But not yet claimed. Okay, so LinkedIn, for some bizarre reasons, let's just click on that. Some bizarre reason creates a company page for you, basically. And if so, somebody has set up a LinkedIn profile saying their company name is company name, and LinkedIn's gone away and created a company page called company name. Very bizarre. When it comes up a bit, sorry, it looks like it slowed down my internet, unfortunately. So this company name is an unclaimed page. So you do see this quite a lot. And if you wanted to, if you find that you try and put your company name in here and it comes up with this, you want to go and make sure that you click on that page. And what you want to do is actually copy and paste the actual name, because sometimes it's all in uppercase. And you need to add it as a current role to your profile to actually then go in and claim the page. I can show you quickly how to do that. But this is really interesting. It's an unclaimed page, and there's 58 employees actually connected to company name. Very, very bizarre. Anyway, so yeah, watch out for that if you've got a problem claiming your company page. So basically what happens is you start typing your company name, LinkedIn creates a URL for your company page, which is great. So, you know, you can think about, again, keywords are quite good to have in there as well. If you've got a website, you could add it in here. You can select your industry here, company size, company type. And I don't usually add the profile details here. I will actually then go in and create the company page. Now down here, it says, I verify I'm an authorized representative. And if I just click on that, it's really hard to see. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really hard to see, but you have to click on that in order to, and it's not going to work for me now, typical. There. But you need to click on there. Oh, click on there, click on it. I'm doing too many clicks, so it's not working very well for me. There we go. So you have to click there to verify that and then you can go ahead and create your company page. So once you've done that, I'm going to go back to my company page. So if I come down here, I can then come in to manage it. So basically, as I said, so here's the header banner that we talked about. If you want to update your header banner, here's a pencil icon. You just need to click on that and upload a cover image. You can reposition this if you want. You can just click and drag and move it down a little bit. If you use Canva to create your header, that LinkedIn company page header banner, it will fit in perfectly into here. So you won't actually need to reposition it. If you need to delete it and upload another one, that's where you can do that. You've then got edit page. So if I click on edit page, this will bring that box up that I showed you on the slides. So in here, you've got all this things that you can add to your company page. So as I mentioned, page logo, again, you can just click on here and select an image, your logo to go in there. I keep changing the name of my company page. It's now called Judy Parsons. And this here is my tagline. So you can see that you've got 120 characters. So at the moment I'm using 113. So if I wanted to, I could go in and add some more characters there. But once you get to 120, I'm pressing the D button. I can't add any more. You stop there. So make sure it is a real sort of elevator kind of tag, sort of elevator pitch there that you want to use as your tagline. I'm just going to discard the edits there. Buttons. So this is quite interesting. So if you've got a website that you want to take people to, you've got various options. You can go visit website, sign up. So it may be that you're doing an event and maybe you want to people, or you want them to sign up for something anyway, sign up for your newsletter or things like that. You can use maybe, or register, for example, for an event. You can use all sorts of these, you know, learn more, contact us. So you've got various different ones here. And there, obviously, that's my URL. If you don't have a URL, you don't actually have to put that on there. So if you turn that off, you don't have to have that custom if you don't have a website. I didn't have a website for a long time. So discard those edits. And then under the About section, we've got Overview. And this is what I mean here, actually, about how this does not expand. If I just go back to my profile, I'll just show you what I mean. It's a little bit easier in the profile, but you can see that this does not move at all. And I'm using just under 1,600 characters out of the 200 there. So it's really, really awkward. But again, I'm still using short paragraphs. I'm using little bullets to break up the text and for lists and stuff like that. There's my URL. And if you want to, you can say my organization doesn't have a website. That's where you could turn it off here as well, if you wanted to do that. And again, your industry, again, these are all preset by LinkedIn. Your company size, whether you're self-employed. I don't want my phone number on there, so I just put that in there. The year it was founded. And then these are all your keywords. So you can, as I say, you're up to 20. So all you need to do is just type in here and you can add a keyword. You can't really change the order of it once they are in the order that they are. But again, it's just a great way to go in and add keywords. It's all about, you know, optimizing your profile as much as possible. And if you notice here, I've just put DDD in here. If I just you just want to delete one, you just need to click on the cross. So it's quite straightforward. So I recommend you do put your specialities in there. It does help. Locations. This is quite good now because I work from home, and you want to really get LinkedIn has an all-star LinkedIn page. It likes you to add a location. But I don't want to put my address in here. So actually you can now go, my organization doesn't have a street address if you work from home, because you don't want your home address out there. And then you can just put your city. So I've got Yorkshire in there and things like that. And obviously you'll need to select United Kingdom, put city in, and you can just have that as your location, which I think is really good, especially, as I say, if you work from home. And then you've got community. And under community, you've got things like hashtags. Now you can associate 3 hashtags to your LinkedIn company page. And I highly recommend that you do this, because on LinkedIn, you cannot engage as a company apart from by the hashtags that you've got associated with your company page. So I have got my own branded hashtag, and I recommend that you create your own branded hashtag and you use that on all, if you're posting on LinkedIn, you want to use that branded hashtag on all your posts, because it allows you to then go, and I'll show you how this works in a minute, but people can follow your hashtag. It allows you to actually see where people maybe have shared your posts, and it allows you to engage on those posts as your company. And then you would have a couple more hashtags. So it would be probably maybe around a service, or you could, if you work in a particular location, for example, Leeds City Region, it could be hashtag Leeds City Region. You've only got 3, so you've got to be quite careful about what those hashtags are. But actually, I'll show you, I'll demonstrate them in a minute, but I do recommend that you have a little think about what those hashtags are and how you can use them. If you're in any groups, you could have a featured group here as well. You need to be admins and stuff, so this may not be so relevant for you. So I'm just going to get rid of that, and let's have a little look at my actual company page. So what I was saying about hashtags, there's where my hashtags are. So we've got content on here. This is just, I wouldn't worry too much about this, but if you've got so many people following your company page, you can go and see if there's stuff that you may want to share via your company page. I don't really take much notice of it, to be honest, because I'm generally okay creating my own content. We've then got this analytics, which I really like. At one time, I'll come on to that. Let's just talk about analytics first. But basically, this will show you visitors to your profile, and the job functions. It gives you a bit of analytics basically on your visitors and also on your updates. I don't do a great deal of updates. What I will do is I'll post to my LinkedIn page, but I also post to my personal page as well. So it gives you a little bit of information. But what's more interesting is that they've actually now, at one time, way back in the day, you used to be able to see who your company page followers were. Then they took that away, and now they've brought it back. So now you can actually see who is following your company page. So and you can start building followers. You can invite people to follow your company page. You can see where they all come from. So that's really, really good, especially for companies where there are multiple employees and stuff like that, and you may have different people inviting people to the one company page. It's really interesting to see, to be able to see who they are. That gives you a little bit of information there. And then the other tab that you've got on here is activity. So you can see if anybody's actually engaging with your company page in terms of, they've reacted or they've commented on your company page and that sort of thing. So if I just come back to home, what I was saying here, just wanted to make you aware of something. If you're going to add a new current role to your profile, sorry, I forgot to add this in when we did this before, but you click on the plus sign, and you know, you can you can come in and update it. But can you see here, share with your network is automatically turned off. You can, if you wish, if you are wanting to promote something and highlight something, like maybe you are written a new book, maybe you want to make that, send that out as a notification out onto your network, you can turn the notification on and off from here, which is quite useful. The other thing you need to be aware of is that if you say you're currently working in this role, can you see this here? It says update my headline. It's automatically selected. You want to make sure that is unticked, because whatever you put in your headline here, if you were then to save it, would overwrite your headline. And that's happened to so many people because they don't notice that update my headline is ticked. But what's important about here when it comes to, let me just turn that off. When it comes to the description, can you see these kind of like little dots down here? You can actually click and hold down with your left mouse button and change the size. So it's much easier actually if you were to just type into a LinkedIn profile, the text, because you can do that. On the company page, unfortunately, if we just go back onto edit page, you see that option isn't there. It's just a fixed box, so it's very unfriendly in that respect. Oh, I don't need company, I don't need that. And I'm just going to get rid of that. So coming back onto the company page. So basically we've got these community hashtags. So I don't really promote the LinkedIn hashtag, my LinkedIn, the LinkedIn Lady hashtag, but actually that could be a really good marketing strategy. And it could be, you know, LinkedIn Lady tips or something like that, and ask people to follow it. And you start getting, I can't see who's following, you don't know who's following, but it's another way of sort of maybe getting people to follow your content. But if I just click on, I'm just going to right click because I want to open it up in a new tab and not overwrite this. If I just click on that tab, on that hashtag, what that does is just wait for the internet to catch up with me. So this allows me, so you can see this is a post I did recently, and you can see there I've got the LinkedIn Lady. So this is my post. I can now come in and I can go and let me celebrate that. And you can see this is my company page. I'm now, should be good. You might want to put something as your company page, for example. So I have now engaged with my own content as my company, as Judy Parsons, a LinkedIn Lady. But what this does as well is allow me to come down here. So here, Tracy Earle has shared one of my posts. So again, I can actually like this as my company, and what I'm doing is raising visibility of the company page in front of all the followers. So this works really well if you are a company with a number of employees and you want to help promote the company a bit more. Actually, these hashtags that you follow allow you to go and engage on conversations that are happening. So you can see LinkedIn profile has 3,000 odd followers, LinkedIn training has 3,000 odd followers. I could again go and engage as myself, as the company page, sorry, on those conversations that are happening. So that's quite a useful little thing to know about company pages. And so it's good to think about these. Again, it's all part of your keywords, and you really want to use these hashtags need to be where the hashtags that your clients are using, because ideally you want to be commenting on them, on those conversations. You can pin, like you can on Facebook, you can pin posts to your top of your page. So I've got my profile, my LinkedIn ebook, my free ebook on how to a 1 hour to a LinkedIn profile that gets you found and noticed. You've watched this webinar, or you may be listening to this webinar, you'll get all the information that you need. But if you do want to go and download this book, please feel free to do that. You can find it on LinkedIn. But I've got that as a pin, so anybody coming to this can see, okay, right, they can go and see where they can download it. So that's really kind of interesting. This is what I said, if you want to view as member, this is what it would look like. This is what my company page would look like to people from like yourself coming to it. And then if you want to go back, click view as admin. And you then also have some various admin tools as well. So there's quite a bit more that you can do in terms of analytics on your company page. However, I'm an individual business owner. I want traffic coming to my personal profile. So for me, the company page is less important, but I still like to sort of invite people to it. I still want to make sure it's optimized, and I still want to be able to go and raise my visibility even more by being able to comment on other posts as the company, as opposed to just myself. So under the admin tools, so we've got reach, we've got settings. If you want to add admins, this is where you would do it. So I've got a couple of people also added as admins to my company page. Going back to here, if you want to invite connections, you can click on there. This allows you to scroll down and find people that you're connected to, and you can go in and invite them to your company page just by clicking on this. It's really hard to see, but there's a little square just by the side of these names, and you can then just go and click on invite connections. So that's quite a useful way of actually building up your followers alongside using that hashtags to help raise visibility of your company page. So I hope that was useful in terms of that. You can also, new feature on a company page, which I quite like as well, is that you can now create an event from here. So, you know, LinkedIn are really focusing on their company pages because they want smaller businesses like us to be using company pages more. They're really overrun by larger companies. So because they obviously want more smaller companies to be advertising. If you're going to advertise on LinkedIn, this is where you're going to do it, through your company page. So they're really adding some nice new features and things that you can do with your company page. So it's certainly something that is always being updated and being added to at the moment. So let's just have a quick look and see if there's any questions at all. Have we got any questions, Kirsty, about company pages?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't unmute my button there. So Karen asked, I've got an unconnected person assigned to my company page. Any idea how to get them removed?
Oh yes, I can't get the chat box to come up for some reason. Never mind. So they've got people associated with their company page, so that they don't want to have. Yes, it is a bit of a challenge, unfortunately. Oh, there it is. It's come up now. Yes, any idea? They're in the US. Oh, something strange. Yeah, so I actually have a bit of a similar problem. So actually, if I click on see, you can't see them because I've actually blocked them, but you can see I've got 2 results. So there is actually, what I'll have to do, there is a link that you can go to and actually say this person is not correct, and go through LinkedIn help to get it removed, to get them off your company page. So you can't do it yourself, unfortunately, because LinkedIn's view is that the content generated on LinkedIn by members is member owned. Which then does come into a few slight problems when you get people who link themselves to your company page and when they shouldn't. So the first thing to do is to try and get in touch with that person, message them, say, can you please remove yourself? That's a little bit difficult if you're not connected to them, or they're a 3rd degree, or you can't see them. I've had people that are LinkedIn members, so you can't actually see who they are. So what you need to do is, and I'll get the link for you, Kirsty, so you can send it out to people afterward. I can't tell you what the link is off the top of my head, I'm sorry. But there is a LinkedIn help. There's a link where you can go to, and what you would do is get the URL of the person that you want to remove. So for what I mean by here, that is this URL. So what's the URL of your LinkedIn profile? So you want to get that and use that to ask the LinkedIn to take them off your company page. That was a long-winded answer to that, but that made sense.
And then we had, if you create a company page, is it then already claimed by us, or do we need to then reclaim?
No, if you create it, it's only if you find you start typing in your company name that LinkedIn comes and says this is already an existing company page. That's when if you can go and create a company page happily and put your company name in there and nothing happens, and you can go in and it's yours and it's claimed.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
And then we've got another one from Tom. Will followers from your profile be carried over when you create a company?
No, you have to invite them. And what will happen is that in the notice, so what will happen in the notifications, if I just come on to, in your network, you've probably seen this quite a lot. If I just come on to, let's just do C all 30. Don't do what I do and have lots of outstanding connection requests. You'll find that it'll come in here inviting you to follow a company page. So if anybody's asked you to follow a company page, you'll come under your invitations. Sorry, I do apologize. It's all playing up a little bit. And you'll see there'll be events and there'll be company pages up here if anybody's invited you to follow their company page. So no, the short answer is no, they don't. You have to go and invite them.
Okay, thank you.
Basically. Another long-winded answer, sorry.
And I don't think we'll have any further questions on there for now. No, I think that's it for questions. Anybody else got any questions that they'd like to ask? Judy, have you got a little bit more to continue on with, Judy, or was it?
That's pretty much it. I've got a little bit of a summary, but I left this space for questions and stuff like that. So it's fine. Yeah, so Karen's saying no idea how they got on there, their business. And the guy who actually, I should maybe go in and block him and get him off properly, is actually Italian. It's really bizarre. And I think, you know, this is where a lot of fake, it's not so much for small businesses like ours, that you'll find a lot of fake profiles will link themselves to a company page. You'll get some company pages, some large companies will have thousands of employees on their company page. And basically what will happen is that they will, they can hide, fake profiles can hide in large companies. So it looks as for Karen though, it looks like their business is called Meeting and Event Connection in Tennessee. It's, you know, either they've made a mistake or they're piggybacking off you, which is a bit ridiculous. I don't know if you can see who they are, whether it looks a fake profile or not, but if it is, then it definitely does need reporting to LinkedIn. So yes, I will send you the details there. Okay, so no more LinkedIn related questions coming up at all about the profile or the company page. So I'll get rid of that on you. Out of network. Okay, so basically that was everything I was going to cover today. So in summary, what I wanted to kind of reiterate is that remember, LinkedIn is another website for your business. It gets you found on Google as well as on LinkedIn, and so you want to make sure that if you do have a website, that your LinkedIn profile is consistent and congruent with what you're already saying online and in your website, so that everybody, wherever they come to, whether it's LinkedIn or website, they've got the same impression and the same messaging and the same branding. Remember to focus on your ideal clients and what's in it for them, their challenges. Talk about their challenges, because the thing about your LinkedIn profile is that it's where we want to try and use it to have a conversation. We want to really get people engaged on our profile. We want people to understand us and to be able to go, oh yes, this person can really help me. So we want to kind of use it as a conversation starter. If you remember at the start, I said LinkedIn is the closest thing to face-to-face networking you can get. Your profile is like you going into a meeting, and you know, so what you say on the profile is they're all designed to get those conversations going, because realistically, you know, we want to get people off LinkedIn and into a conversation. So think about, you know, your profile is very much about conversation starting. So you need to position you, why you. It's very easy to online to say that you can do anything and everything. So you want to make sure that you position your USP fundamentally. Why should somebody work with you? And the other thing I would say to you, have a go at writing your profile. Don't worry about getting it perfect. The thing about LinkedIn is that you can change it in an instant. So just changing some things and playing with it, it doesn't mean that you can never change it back again. Just even change your headline from being just your job title and company name and put your keywords in there, and a bit of a benefit-led statement will make a big difference. And you can work on it, and I'm always forever tweaking and playing and changing and things like that. But what I would recommend that you do is go ask for feedback. So go and find out if, you know, any sort of warm suppliers, any warm partners, any warm customers, people that you've worked with, get them to have a look at it and give them feedback. Does it resonate with them? Do they understand it? Would they be interested in it? Does it grab their attention? It's really useful to go and ask your audience if they like your LinkedIn profile. And that was it. It was over to questions. So, and if anybody would like to connect with me, I am at linkedin.com/in/Judith Parsons. I'd love to connect with you. If anybody'd like a copy of the ebook, again, I can send you the link to that. And that's it. I don't think we've got any more questions, have we, Kirsty?
With how often do you recommend creating posts on LinkedIn, or is it all about the profile for people to find you?
So that's a really good question. So your LinkedIn presence is made up of basically three things. One, your LinkedIn profile. Two, what you post. And three, your network. Your LinkedIn profile is really, really important part of that presence because, as I say, it's your shop front. It's what people will see when they come to your profile. It's what you want people to think, know, and feel about you when they do land on your LinkedIn profile. But once you've done your LinkedIn profile and you're happy with it, it is the first step. It's also very passive. What you want to do then is go and start being active on LinkedIn, and that is by posting content. But what I would recommend is that less is more. So if you've got plenty, and I would never post for the sake of it. Try and post when you've got something positive to say. So generally 2 to 3 times a week is more than enough. And you'll find, I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but posts seem to be lasting longer in the newsfeed as well, so they keep popping up and stuff like that. I think that's got a lot to do with the way that LinkedIn has been working with hashtags recently and the change in the LinkedIn algorithm that happened at the end of May. So if you overpost, you can actually sort of decrease engagement and stuff. So 2 to 3 posts maximum a week is absolutely fine.
Cool, thanks for that, Judy. George asked, is the peak times to post? But I think you've kind of just answered that in the last question there. Lynn has asked, can I check please, can we see what other people see about us, both on personal and the company profiles, i.e. the number of characters determine the main posts?
Can I check, can we see what other people see about us?
Yeah, can I check please, can we see what other people see about us on personal and the company profiles?
Oh, sorry. I understand what that question is now. Yes, I'll go back to that. Sorry, Lynn. Sorry, I just realised what that was. Yes, I will do. Right, okay. I think I know what you mean now. Just to go quickly back to that last question, because most of the 60% of traffic to LinkedIn's from the mobile, the timings of when you post are less important. But I still like to post in the morning. Friday afternoons I find are a no-no, but you post when you know your audience is online. And generally speaking, because of the activity to LinkedIn from the mobile time, the actual times you post are less important. You know, lunch times, mornings used to be very important when people may be away from work. Karen also asked, how many hashtags in a post would you recommend? That's a really good question. As I say, there was a change to the LinkedIn algorithm and they're now saying up to 10 hashtags. But what I would say with hashtags is you make them relevant. Don't put hashtags in just for the sake of it, because that won't help your reach. You want to have relevant hashtags. So don't do hashtag nice, hashtag today, hashtag this, whatever. Make sure that the hashtags are relevant to the content, and also, as I say, include your branded hashtag as well.
Okay, lovely. And then
no, they don't go to everyone. They go to your, when you post, there's a number of things that happens. There's that the LinkedIn will decide whether it's a good quality post, and it'll go through a number of filters, and if it passes their filters, it gets pushed out onto your newsfeed, and it will only go to a percentage of your connections, because the next thing it's looking for is how interesting is your content to your audience, to your network. So that first hour when you first post something is really important, because you want to get as much engagement as possible on that post, because then LinkedIn will go, oh yeah, this is an interesting post, and we'll push it out. So just because you post something doesn't mean all your connections will see it. Definitely not.
Karen's put, what are your thoughts on video?
So videos, obviously native video is really, really good on LinkedIn. So you can create your own videos and upload them directly. That would be far better than actually posting a link to a YouTube video. So videos are great. I mean, video in general is fantastic, isn't it? I mean, whatever marketing you do, they're always saying video is the future. Videos, well, not even the future, the video is now. So absolutely video. Do use video, 100%. So I'm just going to do a new share, just go back to my, to here, to answer. So what, I think what, let me just go back to the chat box, the question, the lady who asked the question. Chat box, come back to me, chat box. Sorry, the chat box is not coming up. There it is.
You got it.
So the lady who, at first I didn't see, so she said, can we see what other people see about us on both personal? I'm not 100%. I didn't know if you were meaning this, Lynn, what people are saying about Judy Parsons. So you can click on that and that will come up, and basically it comes up with all your content. So you can see where you're being mentioned in other posts. A lot of it's my own. But I think that's what she's referring to. So it's probably worth having a look at that. So this is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Lynn, it was Lynn, and she's put the bit where it was members view or admin views. Is it on both?
Sorry, I was just finding the chat again. I didn't quite catch the question. I don't know why my chat takes forever.
Yeah, have you found it?
Oh, it is because it's hiding. That's why. So was that another question? Sorry.
So the bit she's just added to it there.
The bit where it was.
If it was members view or admin views, is it on both?
It was admin view.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions that they want to ask before Judy goes?
You can search hashtag research. I'd highly recommend that you do. Yes, search for a hashtag. You want to see if it's, you want, that's why a branded hashtag. So Judy, the LinkedIn lady, there could well be other hashtag the LinkedIn lady. There is one in America, but she doesn't really use it. I might be better off doing hashtag Judy Parsons, the LinkedIn lady. So yeah, that's why having a branded hashtag is good, because you don't want to have the same hashtag. So if I did hashtag LinkedIn profiles, I'm going to get every LinkedIn expert who does a post on hashtag LinkedIn profiles. So it is important to choose that. No, that looks pretty much about it, doesn't it?
Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure everyone found that really useful. Thanks to everyone watching as well. If you have any further questions, please ask them now before Judy goes. And any links that you discussed that you would send out, I'll get those out to you in an email. So we're just having some thank yous being added into the chat box there, Judy. So thanks everyone.
Yes, thank you very much for joining, and please do connect, and please feel free to forward any more questions.
Oh, brilliant. So Karen's just putting in there, please can I have that LinkedIn that link?
Yes, yeah, you need there's the open for business, and also there was something else I had to do, wasn't it? And the
it was Karen,
company page.
Rid of the company that was on, yeah, the LinkedIn link.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, awesome. Thanks again, Judy. Thanks so much, everyone.
Let me know how you get on with your LinkedIn profiles.
Yes, until next time. Thanks very much. Take care, everyone.
Bye.